stack developer and a two-time co-founder who writes clean, test-driven code in Ruby and ES6 wrapped in perfectly crafted containers for DevOps. He has launched products making thousands of dollars in revenue and has won hackathons from hundreds of global entries. Without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Amin Shah Gilani.
Hi, everyone. Hello. My name's Amin. I'm a full-stack freelance developer. Just so that I can gauge the crowd, how many people here are developers? Okay, thank God. How many people here are freelance developers, or just freelancers in general? Okay, cool. All right. So I used to look like that. Then I started freelancing. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the importance of personal growth and how it can help drive sales for online gigs. I mean, I don't like calling them gigs, but for online contracts. Okay, we're live. That's off center. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the overview. Let's get a little overview of the talk first. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, a little prerequisites, the places I work at, what personal growth is, how I use it to create a brand, and how you can do the same. So first, a little bit about me. My name is Amin Gilani. I used to look like that. I am a freelance software engineer, and I work through TalkTel. It's almost exclusively. I'm also an editor at their publication blog. How many people here know what TalkTel is? Okay, that is a much higher number than I expected. How many people are in TalkTel? Nice. Okay, one hand went up. I'm very excited because I've never seen a hand go up before. How many people have applied to TalkTel? Couple of hands. Okay. I was in the same place you are right now, but just keep at it, okay? Don't give up. So let's talk a little bit about TopTel. TopTel is an exclusive network of the top three freelance software developers, designers, finance experts, and I believe they've added product and project managers to this as well. It's very hard to get in, which is why there's very little people from the crowd that went in. They have a very small acceptance rate. It's much more exclusive than even Ivy League universities or the US Navy SEALs. But I do encourage everyone to apply. And if you do apply and get in, use this referral link. It will do nothing for your application, but it's a referral link. And I get a little bit of fee. And once you get in, I'll get a notification. So I will buy you dinner and invite you in. So let's get started. What is personal growth? It's a very vague and very easy concept to understand. What is personal growth? I'll give you a small illustration. So in 2014, I used to write code like this. Now I write code like this. Developers here would understand that this is bad code on this side, and on that code is very good code. So in 2014, I literally won a hackathon among 300 people with an application where I defined my controllers in the routes.js file. My app crashed during a demonstration, and I pretended to be my application when the demo was being done. So someone used my application. I got a notification that the app had crashed. I went inside the backend and pretended to be a machine and made the app run and told the client that, yes, it's working. And now I do CI/CD tests. I check for 95 percentile stats. I do Docker-based microservices, and I'm a polyglot. So it's fairly simple to understand what personal growth is. You're not that skillful then, and now you become skillful, or you will at a certain point in time. So if I were to pin down what personal growth is, it's becoming an expert in what you do. And as a random Hacker News comment once told me, everything you do will pay you in two ways, money and skill. And neither one of those two is more important than the other. Now, I make it a point to explain this beforehand is because a lot of people, including myself, they start accepting jobs that aren't their core domain. So never quite become, or they take too long to become an expert in what they really want to become. Um, so yeah, when you want to be a person, when you want to grow personally, build your skill. Now, is personal growth enough? Does becoming very, very good at something mean that you will suddenly start making a lot of money or become a very successful freelancer? In my opinion, no. You have to build a brand around that. And we've seen talks with Pele, and there's a little bit of overlap between my talk and their talk, but not a whole lot. Mine is significantly shorter. Uh, Now let's talk about how to create a brand. Why do you even need a brand? What is a brand? ये तो marketing का लफ्ज़ है. Like, and I'm a freelancer. I like to stay at home. Literally, I will spend, before I was married, I would spend hours and hours working. I would not meet people. I would go to the co-working space. The Hassan Beta, the Kickstart CEO. So I would go to Kickstart at night. Um, I would eat everyone's chocolates off their desks and go away before morning came. And every time जब सुबह लोग आते थे उनकी सारी चीज़ें खाली होती थी मगर मैं वहाँ होता नहीं था. So I was never literally in the office when anyone else was around. I hate being a brand. I hate meeting people. Like I built my whole life around not talking to people and just sitting in front of a computer the whole time. So how does someone like this create a brand? Well, let's talk about let's talk a little prerequisites. So if someone just graduated from school, there are two people. So Adam and Bob, they graduated from school. They both say that they can create a great application. Bob says that he has the link for the code for his application on GitHub. Adam does not. As an employer, which one would you hire? Okay, show of hands. How many people would hire Adam? How many people would hire Bob? Okay, a lot of people said Bob. Good. Yes, I would hire Bob too because I can see what he wrote. Even if it's bad, I know that he knows how to use Git. I know that he knows how to use GitHub. That's stuff I want from a developer. So right off the bat, when they apply, I can see Bob's better. Now, as a client, who would you hire? Adam and Bob. They both have the same portfolio. They have the same sort of work structure. But Bob has written various blog posts, given talks on experiences, such as what I'm doing right now. And he has evidence of it up on Twitter. He's very social, on social media at least. Which one would you hire? Adam? Hands up. Adam? No one for Adam. Bob? Okay, yeah, exactly. So another example. This is a friend of mine. He has a LinkedIn page. There are two Suleiman Khans here. As a marketer, I would certainly hire this Suleiman Khan just because he has a profile page on his LinkedIn page. But then he also has a website. You can see that he's got a lot of other things here too. Like he's put a little bit more effort than the other person into his about page. So I know LinkedIn is a bad place. Like who goes to LinkedIn? Some freelancers and we pick up 3-week-long contracts or 3-month-long contracts. It's not like we're going to put those up on LinkedIn, right? There's a way to put that up on LinkedIn. You just write freelancer or remote engineer. But yeah, another example. Who do you think in this situation is the better developer? I'm not going to take a poll because I've done too many polls here. I'm going to answer this. This guy, Click Upvote, is the better developer. He's a personal friend of mine. We make the same amount of money. We actually argue because he says he makes more. And he has a significantly higher Stack Overflow reputation than almost any other person I've ever met. But at the same time, when you Google Ali Akhtar, I took his permission to do stuff, so he's not really offended by this. You see nothing. Whereas if you Google my name, you see my photos and my LinkedIn, and almost everything on this page is about me. Now there's more you can do. You can start establishing your own brand in a number of other ways. What sort of stuff would someone searching for a DevOps expert try to find? So say your client is a slightly big company, a mid-sized company. They have a few employees. They want to get a quick contractor. Where do they go to hire another contractor? Or what's the first name that would come to their mind if they want to hire a freelance contractor? Like, how would they get into it? Like, I'm looking for ideas. Does anyone have a good idea? Yeah, I mean, go for it. You're gonna have to speak louder because I don't. Google search getting. Okay, that's a good idea, right? So Okay, so you have a network that's okay. Good, good. Yeah, okay, yes, that works too. A network that you trust and Google. That's very good. So we can go to, well, we can do sort of both in this case. What I like to do is I like to blog. Like I write a lot of articles. So if someone were to Google, say, building a effective deployment pipeline initially, they would go here, right? An initial deployment pipeline. I have the second article on Google for this specific keyword. Now, this also ties into his network thing. I work at TopTal. So TopTal's like a network of elite engineers. I get a significant number of contracts through them just by being on TopTal, and I get more because I write a lot of articles of this nature. Now, as a second example, jumping off of him, if you want to hire a Ruby on Rails expert, right, you would want to search for articles or content that would help you out. So one more thing. In this article, once you're done reading this article, right to the bottom, there's a big old green button that says Hire Amin. Because TopTal wants people to hire people like me, clients to hire people like me. So if you were to say search for Ruby on Rails stuff, so you want to build a slightly complex Ruby on Rails application. You want to add, so this is going to get a little bit technical. If you want to add service objects for your Ruby on Rails application, you'd go and search for Rails service objects. I happen to have the top article for on that page. And once again, same thing. You go into this page, you scroll down after, and it's a very well written article. I spent like 2 weeks of my life onto this. You go at the end and you see a big button, a green button that says Hire Amin. So the question is like, what's in a brand? Why would you create a brand? And the answer is networking. I get a ton of people to come that just want to connect with me. Like a lot of people just, this guy read my article on service objects. A lot of other people, like a lot of other work that I've done. In fact, I've actually been invited to speak at conferences. Another thing that you get is opportunities. So people trying to hire other developers, other people that have started their own moonlighting work. At this point, you're not actively looking out for clients, especially talking to Kata. Clients actually come out to you. It takes a little bit of time, but it actually is very easy to build that. You just have to establish yourself as an expert and put yourself out there. So, like, what's in the brand? Opportunities, sales, deals, or like, I am a very simple guy, so I just like to say there's money in this. You build a brand, you get paid. It's very simple. Now, how do you build your own brand? It's very simple. Become an expert. How do you do that? You write a lot of code if you're a developer. So for me, like my life was code before I got married. Like 80 hours completely coding. Like I don't think a human being should be coding that much. And when I wasn't coding, like there's a gap there around me when I stopped coding. It was actually because I was reading other people's codes. So I find a lot of GitHub issue requests, as like issues and discussing in conversations with people. This is around the year of 2018, I think. Then I dropped off of GitHub and I started working a lot more on GitLab. The Microsoft acquisition happened. But anyways, moving on. Another thing that you could do is stuff that you do not need to do, but is nice. So the only reason I did this, Max, Yukihiro Matsumoto. He's the guy that created the Ruby language. I call myself a Ruby expert. What do you need to be a Ruby expert? You need the like in my head, I was like, why don't I get a piece of paper that has the creator of the Ruby language's name on it, and he signed it and says that I am a good Ruby developer. So I did just that. I got certified by the Ruby Association, and I have a signature on my certificate that says I'm a gold Ruby programmer, whatever that means. Now, the first step is to become an expert. You have to become really good at what you are, like what you want to be, and then just take the jobs that you want to take, like the jobs that fit with your scope, and do just those, and become an expert. And then share what you learn. Like I write a significant amount of articles. So this is a subset, but it's not a small subset. But yeah, so I've written a lot of articles over the years. Not all of them are technical. I've also written like right to information articles. But I like to share what I learned. And this puts me out there. All of these articles that I've written, almost every single one of them, well, some of these got me a lot of hate. Especially the Don't Be an Entrepreneur article. I posted this in Pakistan startups. Like people hated that. That I'm telling people not to be entrepreneurs. There was a story behind it, but oh well. And then a lot of people reach out to me based on these articles. They're like, "Hey, I read your article. I just want to connect." Or, "Hey, I read your article. I'm looking for someone with similar expertise." Yeah, and help more people. So share what you know, become an expert, establish yourself, write more, and then most importantly, help people more. So yeah, I like to write because I think writing helps more people than telling one person, because more people will read stuff you write online than you can probably teach to someone in one conversation, because that doesn't just scale. One room full compared to like 100,000 people that visit your blog, it's a completely different scale. So yeah, and in summary, if you really want a checklist about stuff that I recommend you do, first become an expert in whatever you want to do, and then get a website, get a blog, fix your online profiles, LinkedIn, Twitter, and unfortunately Facebook. I've been trying to leave it for like years now, but I can't because it's still significant. Uh, Become the best at what you do, help other people, and almost anything will follow. Thank you. I think that's it. TopTel is awesome. If you want these slides, you can tweet at me. You can actually, this is my email address. You can reach out to me if you have any questions. I even have a Discord. Thank you. So I can't take questions right now. So there's a lot of other questions that I would have loved to answer that I can't. Either stuff like, I mean, if I'd known that there were so many freelancers, I would have actually done another topic. Something like, how to do your taxes right, stuff you can do to incorporate how to move money into Pakistan really fast and really cheap. I can answer those questions over like dinner. And yeah, thank you.